What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Bryce.
Your co-host, Joe.
And it's Merek, and we're back with episode 7 of
Sports and Beyond, baby!
Okay,
Yes,
episode 7. We are coming off a decent episode. I liked last episode. Me and Joe had some fun recording it, talking about it. Now, the first topic we have, Merek, obviously, you're familiar with football. So typically when we have you on, we like to focus on football just because you could add a lot of input. So first topic, we're talking about the Niners. Your favorite team. We're going to talk about Deebo Samuel and the trade rumors. Joe, you have a lot of strong opinions on this. Same with Merek. I want to hear what you guys have, and I'll play the middleman.
Joe, you start.
All right. Me and Merek actually got into this in the group chat the other day, so this is going to be a little crazy. I think that Deebo Samuel needs to be gone from this team. We're paying him $28 million a year for him just to be an absolute bum. He only had 2 touchdowns this year. Hasn't even eclipsed 1,000 yards in a season. Go ahead, Bryce. What were you going to say?
He actually had 3 touchdowns, Joe. And just so everyone knows, I'm taking your. No, okay, wow. Joe. I'm taking your stat thing because you seem like you don't know your stats anymore. He had 51 receptions for 670 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he averaged 13.1 yards. He also 44
yards a game.
He had 2 fumbles.
Felt like he fumbled in the worst moments.
He had 1 rushing touchdown. He had 42 carries for 136 yards. So overall, I mean, he didn't have a lot of impact on the field. Didn't surpass 1,000 yards. Kind of a lackluster season, if I would say so myself. You could continue, Joe.
$28 million a year for him to not even eclipse 700 yards. And for an elite player like Deebo Samuel, you should be hitting 1,000 yards every season. And I feel like every time the Niners give him the ball, like on a rushing play, he goes for 2 yards max. I feel like that's what I feel like every single time. Statistically, he's averaging like 4 yards a carry. But I remember there was this one play against the Buccaneers where Deebo was running the ball. He got like 10 yards or something. If you look at the overview play, Deebo bounces it to the outside. It's a touchdown, simply put. Deebo Samuel, he was a good player in 2021, but ever since he had his big contract held out, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Deebo put on some weight, and ever since he has not been the same player.
I was just about to say that.
I mean, this year against the Rams, he had a wide open touchdown pass. He catches the ball, runs it straight for a touchdown, drops it. There's even that legendary Twitter quote that he put. He said, "I'm not struggling this season." And then he literally got community noted that said he's struggling this season. He's leading his teams in drops.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say it any differently. Deebo Samuel had a really bad season this year. I remember vividly watching that Rams game. My dad was talking about how he was very disappointed in Deebo Samuel for going out in public and talking bad about the organization and talking bad about his quarterback, not feeding him the ball. But when he gets targeted, he often drops the ball or doesn't do anything with the ball. So exactly. Do you blame Brock Purdy for the poor performance that Deebo Samuel had? No. Now here's another question. Someone that went under everyone's radar this year, Juwan Jennings. He surpassed 1,000 yards, and he was not wide receiver 1 in this team. I mean, in my opinion, he definitely was. But on the depth chart, he was probably wide receiver 2. And then honestly, even the little bit of time that Ricky Pearsall was available, Ricky Pearsall had a great season.
He still had like 350 yards.
Yeah, he did way better than Deebo Samuel. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like my opinion here is that Deebo Samuel deserves to leave. But the question is what will the 49ers get out of it? Joe, you have something to say?
I feel the need to note this. Ricky P played 11 games, had 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, which doesn't seem impressive through 11 games, but I feel like it was, especially considering that this dude literally got freaking shot. Sorry about that. This dude literally got shot in the shoulder this season and still put up 400 yards. So
yeah, not only to mention he says that he plays 11 games, but that could be him playing 1 snap in one of those games.
The first, he was on limited. Got 2 snaps.
Yeah, he was like very limited on the first couple of games. And obviously when he was able to kind of be himself and get more reps, he definitely showed why he deserved to be picked in the first round. Now, the bigger question is if the 49ers send Deebo Samuel away, how or what are they going to do to balance it? Because obviously they use Deebo Samuel in the backfield too to give reps away from Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is also dealing with another injury that he's coming back from next season, hopefully. So it's just how will they utilize him? Merek?
Okay, so yeah, Joe did say we did get into it the other day, but because I was defending my boy, because obviously he's a Niner, I defend all of them. But after looking at some of the stats and some of the things he's done the last 2 years, he literally hasn't done anything. He's put on 20 pounds in the last year and a half. And he's way overweight. So he's not as elusive. He used to be 215, that's fine for a receiver. I mean, he was stocky. He was 225 maybe.
He was bouncing off people in 2021.
Exactly. In 2022 and everything. And then he got up weight. Now he's probably 235, 240. And now he's literally just a box getting thrown around. And he doesn't have the hands anymore. His hands have gotten chunky, I guess. I don't know what it is. But I think with BA coming back, Brandon Ayuk coming back next season with his technically it's 4 more years since that he had a season ender. But he's good now. He's been putting in work and everything. So with him gone, with him coming back, I think it's a good idea, especially with getting rid of Deebo. Because Deebo, I feel like he's greedy in a way. He wants more stats so he can get more money. He's not necessarily for the sport, for the game, all these other guys are. I think it's a great idea because we still have George Kittle, which honestly I think he's our number 1 reception player.
He had 18 the season, 1,108 yards. Pretty good.
He went off.
Missing
Ricky
3
P,
games.
He's gonna have a good sophomore season. Who else do we got? BA, of course. Jawan Jennings.
Jawan, 1,000 yards. One fight away from 1,000 yards.
I know. I say we trade Deebo because there's a lot of landing spots. There's the Broncos. There's Washington. There's the Chargers. There's a lot of teams he can land on with right now. And if we trade him to Washington, we could get Terry McLaurin. That's in the rumors. And obviously, we got more stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there's another rumor. There's another rumor that we do have later in the podcast, which is very interesting. I do think. Sorry, Joe went away, so I had to put him on the back room just so you guys can get a full picture of us. Joe is parched. Hey, this seems to be a thing in this podcast. We typically get thirsty, but one of the things that I do think is very important is if the 49ers send him away, what are their plans and where are they going to send him? Because if they send him to a team where they have a quarterback to throw to him in a way that he might have an amazing season, it's iffy. And the thing that I liked about Deebo Samuel, although he didn't have a good season, is he did do good on relief time for people that might have needed a break, or because he was when he was good, not that he's bad, but when he was at his prime, he was playing as an elusive receiving back, basically throwing him on the line, but also throwing him in the backfield. So he definitely provides a lot of value everywhere on the field. It's just he kind of fell off recently. Now, do the 49ers get rid of him, or do they keep him and hope that he comes back up?
Well, the Niners have already approved that trade. Hey, go for it, because we need that cap space, especially we're in a win now situation. A lot of teams are in their rebuild. We have the players where we need to win now because they're not going to have them for so much longer. We're going to have Fred, George Kittle. We have Purdy. These are Niners for life. Maybe not Purdy, but he's got his 5-6 year contract.
He's gonna get a big. He's gonna get a big.
We're going to have a lot of these players, and with getting rid of Deebo, he's already been in the league for what? Since 18, 19?
I had it up earlier. I could.
His first season was the year we went to played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl the first time.
Okay, so then what was that? 2019? Yeah. So we're in a win now situation. So I say we get rid of him and we pick up either a really nice pick, because we could honestly probably get a first round or even a early second with Deebo, because Deebo has a lot of value with him, and him freeing up around $30 million cap space, that opens up a lot of room for us to wiggle to keep our players, keeping Greenlaw, this might even be Nick Bosa's last season.
Oh, you're right.
He's starting to get old.
Contract's coming up.
We don't know what he's going to do, because he missed 4 games this season.
Yeah, he missed 6 games, I think, actually.
No, I think the Niners took it honestly easy this year. Not saying we took it easy on other teams. Of course, we want to win, but I think he got to the point they weren't going to fight for it because they didn't want to get injured, and they all sacrificed their own season.
There's no point. Yeah, CMC was out for the whole year.
But CMC, he just got cleared last week that he's fully healthy and back to 100% training as he would if he was healthy. So he's back. BA's back. We got our boy Robert Saleh.
I love Robert Saleh, bro.
Saleh, whatever it is. Yeah, we got him. Our defense, that was whenever we were in our prime. So, he's back. Defense is definitely going to be our carry this year.
Oh, for
he's
sure.
Fighting for Greenlaw.
a lot of things are starting to click for the 49ers organization. Now the thing is sending Deebo away if they can find a trade and find a team that's willing to gamble on him and getting something in return to possibly elevate the team. Now, there is a wide receiver in the West that has been put on the trading block. I want to see what you guys think.
East.
Cooper Kupp. He's on the trading block. It's beneficial that the Rams are kind of giving up on him and sending him away. Do you think that the 49ers might be interested in getting him if they send Deebo away?
Definitely.
I was talking about this with my dad the other day, and my dad
was
is
too.
for this, but I am totally for this. I think Cooper Kupp's basically he's the white version of Deebo Samuel, but better. So like since when is a white guy better than a black guy at sports? I don't know. That wasn't meant to be racist. It's just a stereotype.
It's crazy.
So ban our pod early, bro.
This is the end of the podcast right here. It's the end of the podcast. Thanks everyone for listening.
The movie White Man Can't Jump. Y'all know the movie White Man Can't Jump.
I do know the movie.
The movie, but it's like the opposite roles, bro. Or no, it is no. The white guy's better than the black guy in that movie.
Okay, we get it. We get it.
Okay, stop profiling, bro. No, we're done. We're done.
Cooper Kupp. Okay, Deebo Samuel is like the Walmart version, and Cooper Kupp is Target. Cooper Kupp is like better. Cooper Kupp, I think, is just Deebo Samuel, but just a lot more consistent. The only problem for Kupp that raises an eyebrow is his injury proneness, but also Deebo's very injury prone. So I would totally be for swapping Deebo for Kupp. The only thing that I think is preventing this from happening, though, is that they're both in the same division, and I think they're trying to trade. Both players are trying to get traded out of conference. So that's the only problem I can see with this whole.
I think that would be a great idea to trade for that because, one, we have that deep threat, Brandon Ayuk. We have Juwan Jennings in that middle field deep threat. We have Ricky Pearsall coming across the field, and we could put Cooper Kupp as another slot receiver because a lot of
you play good on the slot.
I do get. I'm younger, and not a lot of people use this word, but like grit. Grit is a huge thing. Like he fights for everything. That's why a lot of the Niner players, like Juwan Jennings, gets their looks and everything is because they fight for everything that they have. Like every yard, he's fought for his contract. He's fought for everything. And with Puka Nacua being on the Rams, it kind of took away from Cooper Kupp. And Matt Stafford found a new number one, and Cooper Kupp kind of pushed Cooper Kupp away. So I think that's a good idea. And I think what's holding the Niners back from like finalizing that is honestly, one, I like what Joe said with the conference and everything. I didn't think about that. But I think it's to figure out if we need him or not, depending on BA and where we're going to be at all around.
And the thing that people need to realize too is like Cooper Kupp, he's been in the league for a while, but last year he did not have like a eye-opening season. He played 12 games, which obviously 5 games less than a full season. He only got 67 receptions on 100 targets and only got 710 yards for I think only like 6 touchdowns, which is only 3 more than Deebo. He got 100 more yards than Deebo. So statistically, he was only a little bit better than Deebo Samuel, but I mean,
Stop.
No, but but you have to realize, Joe, is that statistically, Cooper Kupp had relatively the same season as Deebo Samuel. So you also need to realize that. Do you think that Cooper Kupp will elevate the team if he had the same
100%
the same amount of impact on this? Okay, you go, Joe. Because here's what I would like to argue. The Rams did significantly better than the 49ers this year.
I feel like
you can't – the thing is like the Rams did significantly better than the 49ers, so you can't say that Cooper Kupp wasn't the best player on that team. So why do you think that he'll come to the 49ers and impact them? That's my question. I'm only playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying that I'm against it.
You're not considering is that Deebo played 3 more games than Cooper Kupp and still couldn't have more yards than him. Deebo played 15 games, and Deebo dropped passes. Cooper Kupp is at least a clutch playoff performer, and Cooper Kupp is a solid player that helps elevate this team. I mean, sure, they also got Puka Nacua. They got Kyron Williams. And in that crowded offense, Cooper is still – when he's not the number one option, he's still putting up good numbers like that. And he's not even the number one option. This year, it was pretty apparent to me that the Niners were trying to make Deebo their number one option because Deebo was complaining all season, oh, they don't use me like a real receiver. When they started using Deebo like a real receiver, he was dropping passes and playing like dog poo. Like he was not playing good. So I think that Cooper Kupp is the type of guy that elevates his team. He's always consistent. And I think if he comes to San Francisco, although his stats won't be super eye-popping because he's got to share targets with George Kittle, Ricky P, Juwan, Christian McCaffrey, I think he'll be a consistent player for the Niners that will catch passes and the Niners can depend on, unlike Deebo Samuel, who you can throw a short dink and dunk pass, but he'll still drop it. So I think Cooper Kupp is a lot more reliable than Deebo. The only problem is that Cooper Kupp is older than Deebo.
Okay, Merek, we heard from Joe. Merek, let me hear what you have to say because you've been relatively quiet and kind of just like nodding your head, smiling, giggling at these like little situations that I'm putting everyone in. Let me hear you. Let me hear what you got to say.
I agree completely with Joe. He took the words out of my mouth. The only thing we do have to worry about is age because he has been in the league longer, and so we can't keep him. Obviously, he won't have as long as a career as we could if we kept Deebo and built off of him. But we also don't need to pay Cooper as much because he's been in the league for so long. So that still opens up more opportunities around the team overall.
I agree. See, this guy knows what he's cooking. This is why we have Merek on the podcast, so Merek can side with me and make Bryce realize how much of an idiot he is sometimes. Just kidding. I love you, Bryce.
Okay. So I had another topic in mind, but I'm gonna move something up just because we're talking about the 49ers. Another receiver in mind that people have been talking about, and it seems a little bit more plausible as time goes on. Davante Adams to the 49ers. This is an interesting one because he just got moved to the Jets. But obviously, we know that some things are going to happen. We're going to talk about that next topic. Some things are happening. Merek, what do you got to say?
Okay, I think this is absolutely fantastic because one, I think it's very possible. One, because as I don't know if the viewers know, shout out Steve, I bet he does, but that's just part of ways for the quarterback position with A-Rod. And as we know, Davante follows A-Rod. But it sounds like Aaron Rodgers could be hanging up the cleats. It might. We don't know yet. I mean, it's very possible he could even go to the Raiders. But after Davante just left the Raiders, he will not go back. That's just common sense. You're not going to go there. And if they're parting ways with Aaron Rodgers, that probably means they're going to start a rebuild. Because, I mean, they just lost their head coach. He came to the Niners as our DC. So I can't think of anything else that they would do unless they're trying to just fight for playoffs just for a little bit of money. I mean, but I doubt they can do it without Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. Because who they have? Zach Wilson as their backup?
No. I think
who's right now?
I zoned out. The Niners, they have Brandon Allen and Josh Dobbs.
No.
The Jets.
No, Zach Wilson's a Bronco. The Jets have
is it Gardner? No, it's not Gardner.
No, I'm going to their roster right now.
They have James Morgan.
They had Adrian Martinez and Tyrod Taylor.
Oh,
Tyrod. That's who it is.
Hey,
right.
Shout out Adrian Martinez. He was a legend in the UFL. Carried the Stallions.
But talk
about UFL
if they're going there, I mean, they probably have a pretty high pick in the draft. Because I mean, they didn't perform at all this year.
Oh yeah.
So I'm assuming that's probably what they're going to go for is a little look as a quarterback in the draft. So I think they're going to go rebuild. And Davante's going to want money. He is still in good shape for his age and everything, and he's a baller. One of the best route runners of all time. And with VA, Ricky P, and Juwan, we could put Juwan as our sixth man again, or even Ricky P because he's young because Juwan had a great season. But we can have Davante going. I say we put him as our midfield threat because Brandon Ayuk's so elusive, and we could still throw him down deep. Brock Purdy has his threats back. He's going to get his confidence. And because he's still so young, once he gets his contract, all that stress is gone, and then he's just going to start performing. We'll see him in the backfield. We can start running the ball down people's throats. That's looking good for the Niners, and Davante would be a fantastic fit, in my opinion, especially to fill Deebo. Because if we trade Deebo to the Jets, because I don't think he's on it. He didn't said nothing about I want to win now. He just wants to trade for money, so he can go get his money with the Jets, and we could take Davante.
Yeah. I think Deebo just wants to go to a team where he's the main guy in charge.
And exactly.
Which I don't think
he wants all the incentive.
And to add a little bit of context to Davante Adams' season, 85 receptions, 1,063 yards, 8 touchdowns and averaged 12.5. And you have to remember the people who were throwing him the ball were Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, and Aaron Rodgers. And all of those quarterbacks, I mean, some people might say that Aaron Rodgers still has it, but it is very apparent that Aaron Rodgers has been declining. He's like, let's just say this. Aaron Rodgers is like the Lightning McQueen of the league, and everyone else is Jackson Storm. And McQueen is fading. Shout out that hey, that's a legendary quote. McQueen is
That
fading.
was low key a bar.
That was
Aaron Rodgers is fading. Aaron Rodgers is out of order, unfortunately.
Ever since his Achilles went out, he declined bad. He faded hard.
He hasn't been that bad, just bad for Aaron Rodgers standards. He had 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 picks, which isn't bad, but for Aaron Rodgers, that is bad because Aaron Rodgers is the same guy that will throw 40 touchdowns a season and less than 10 picks. So it wasn't bad, but like for Aaron Rodgers, that's not that good.
Yeah,
I agree. I second that
definitely-
wholeheartedly.
It's interesting to see, and I'm interested to see what the Jets have in mind. Now, I have a question because I know Merek does need to go very soon. This is probably going to be the last topic that we have with Merek. The question is, do you guys prefer Devontae Adams or Cooper Kupp on the 49ers? I want you guys to know why, and I want you guys to give me the dream scenario.
Who wants to go first, me or you, Joe?
I'll go first.
Go for it. I think we're going to say the same person.
We're probably going to say the same person. To me, it's pretty obvious, but I got to go with Devontae, man, because we're forgetting that Devontae was the best receiver in the NFL 3 years ago. The only reason why he's not the best receiver now is because he was playing with Jared Stidham, Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, Derek Carr for a little bit. Derek Carr's not a bum, but like he's just like he wasn't having his best time in Las Vegas. When he had a good quarterback, when he had Aaron Rodgers on the Packers, Devontae Adams was hands down the best receiver in the league. He has that route running ability. The only reason why he wasn't able to get the ball in Las Vegas was because of chemistry issues with his quarterback and because his O-line was dog and he had young, unexperienced rookie or young quarterbacks throwing him the ball. And as we know, rookie quarterbacks, they tend to be like more scared of the pressure. He also had Jimmy Garoppolo throwing him the ball, and me and Merek know a thing or two about or three.
Oh,
I like Jimmy G as a person, but like as a quarterback, no. When you got Jimmy G, AOC, Gardner Minshew, and Derek Carr and Jared Stidham throwing you the ball, it's kind of hard to produce at that elite level. So I feel like putting him in an elite franchise like this, like the Niners, will overall elevate his play. And I know, although I really heavily dislike Kyle Shanahan, I think that Shanahan will devise a scheme that will be good for Devontae Adams to flourish in the Niners system.
I completely can just agree with you on everything you just said. Cooper Kupp would be fantastic. We'd probably have him a little bit longer, but how Devontae works is like if he's getting this like statistics wise of what he wants, like not necessarily like, oh, if I get what I want, I'm gonna keep playing. If I don't, then I'm out, kind of thing. But like if he keeps getting those numbers that he wants, like if he's staying consistent at like 850 or whatever he's wanting, he's gonna keep staying, and there's gonna be no problem. He'll stay until he's like LeBron in the NFL. Like he's gonna stay for years. And like Joe said, 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, when he was first on the Raiders, he was in the top 3 receivers in the league. He still was. He was in that, like, it went between Justin Jefferson, him, and probably, Jamar or something? Maybe, no, it was Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, yeah.
It was the 3 of them, Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp almost put up 2,000 that 1 year.
Exactly.
And won the Super Bowl.
And, I mean, he played with a rookie quarterback. That was Cooper Kupp's prime season because he was the number one. He got everything. Devontae was supposed to be number one, but how he got treated like he was like a sixth man on the basketball team. Like he only gets what he can. He only takes what he can get. So yeah. I think Devontae would be a perfect fit, especially with Kyle Shanahan, an old school coach that would just knows how he works. He's coached against them. He's never coached with them, but definitely against them. He knows how he works. So I think it'd be a fantastic fit.
Yeah.
Agree.
Now, do you want to say something, Joe? Or
no. I was just agreeing.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think that Devontae Adams would be more likely to want to come to the 49ers. And I have an interesting reason why. Not because of the team and the success that he has, but you have to remember Devontae Adams is from California. He played in Fresno State. He's 32 years old. The only reason why he went to Vegas was to play with his old quarterback that played in Fresno State with him. He wanted to play with Derek Carr.
Shout out Bryce, Fresno State banner in the background.
Yes.
The
only reason why Davante Adams went to Vegas was to play with one of his old teammates. He's getting a little bit older. He's coming to the point of his career where he's ready to hang up the cleats. I think that if he wants to end the team, he wants to end it. If he wants to leave the sport, he wants to leave it in a bang and leave it to the place that he calls home. And I feel like California is a place that he will call home. So I feel like the only reason that Davante Adams would be interested in going is to hang up I keep thinking of boots because I'm a soccer guy, but to hang up his cleats. So that's my reason why I think that he would want to come over to San Fran. Now, I don't think Cooper Kupp would want to go to San Fran just because Joe said earlier, same division and then same side of the league. But here's what I want to ask too. How do you think the 49ers will be able to pull off to get Davante Adams while also staying in the cap and paying the players that you guys want to play?
Well, that becomes the reality. Obviously, money and it adds up. You obviously have a certain cap space or whatever. But Deebo holds a lot of value. He has a lot of incentives that he holds. I mean, he's getting paid $30 million right now, and obviously we're reconstructing. I think with Fred Warner and there's possibility even with like Nick Bosa. So we could reconstruct that and give Davante what he wants because now it's the reality of sports. Like money is a huge thing. Like even if Cooper did come, it would all depend on, okay, am I getting paid a good amount to play in the same conference? Because obviously that's a hang up for him. So obviously there's a lot of what ifs, but I think the Niners have done it before, and I think they could do it again of like persuading people and figuring out where the next step for that person is. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And something that I would like to know that I think is pretty interesting, Davante Adams is also getting $28 million a year, which is the same exact amount the Niners are paying Deebo right now. So, I mean, you trade Deebo and some picks for Davante Adams. That's no change in the Niners' current salary cap. Now, we just said we would like to trade Deebo to get better salary cap so we can pay Dre Greenlaw, because I think that Dre Greenlaw, if we resign Dre Greenlaw, I think the Niners will be serious contenders. But if it means getting Davante Adams and completely elevating this offense, I think that this can be very beneficial for the Niners.
Yeah. I think that wraps up that topic. Merek, can you stay for a little bit longer, or you think you got to check out here?
I think we can get another topic in. I got one more.
Okay. You teased earlier. There was a big thing that you said. I was hoping that we could save it for the end, but you said the Jets are giving up on Aaron Rodgers. And it's very interesting to see. I don't blame you because that's something that I would probably say too. It's very interesting, and it's kind of sad, seeing Aaron Rodgers fade. Like I said, McQueen is fading, and it's exactly what's happening here. And they full-heartedly were like, "Yeah, we're moving away from you. You got to find a new team. We don't want you here." It's very bittersweet to see that Aaron Rodgers is now. At one point, he was probably the greatest quarterback in the league when he was at his top form. Now he's a scrum, so a free agent. No one really wants to take a bite of the apple because he's toxic. He's toxic to the team. We saw it at the Jets organization. Very toxic to the team. Just destroyed the team from the ground.
It is sad because obviously, like, from our age, we grew up watching A-Rod, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, like all these guys, and now it's changing, and so now we got the new age coming in, and it sucks. But I think it is time for A-Rod to hang him up. He is like what, 38, 39, something like that. People aren't going to look at him like as they look at Tom Brady, because obviously they saw Tom Brady go to the Bucs for one season, beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and he goes, "All right, I'm done." Like, he did it for fun because Tom Brady's just like that. But
you are way off, Merek. He's 41.
He's 41. Yeah, see, like, he's even older.
Oh, he's old, yeah.
Oh, and real quick, to go back on one of the last topics, I just thought of this whenever you said Jets. I don't know why I clicked. With Deebo going to the Jets, I think that would be huge because they have Garrett Wilson. And so, like, them having them too, the Jets be like, "Oh, look, we have two big receivers now. We just need a quarterback, whatever." That could bring a lot of value, and we bring Davante.
Yeah, over. I think that is the perfect – I think excluding salary cap, I think it's the perfect move for both teams because the 49ers will get their wide receiver that they're looking for in Devontae Adams, and the Jets will be able to get the Deebo Samuel, which is also like I don't know how to say this, but like a great wide receiver, not statistically, but they think so.
It's like a Luka AD trade, bro. Mavs got a great big man.
Yes.
Exactly. So, and I also saw a little bit of rumors, and I think it's pretty interesting. Obviously, Jets moving away from Aaron Rodgers. Now, the question is are they going to go get a quarterback in the draft? Or here's an idea. Obviously, Vikings, they have their young quarterback coming up. JJ McCarthy is now going to be healthy. Do you think Sam Darnold goes over there back to the Jets for a new beginning, a new era?
I don't think so because I think they're going to want to pick a young quarterback and develop him with Garrett Wilson because he's young and Deebo, I bet, still has plenty of years left in him. So I think he's going to build a chemistry completely fresh between the three of them. I think that's what
you also have to remember Sam Darnold was on the 49ers, so there is chemistry with him and Deebo. So there already is that chemistry, and obviously
that is a good point.
Garrett Wilson's young. Garrett Wilson will look up to Deebo because Deebo's a little more experienced. So he'll gravitate to Deebo, and Deebo will bring him to Sam Darnold. And I feel like that could be it could be a scary trio. I'm just saying, if Sam Darnold goes to the Jets and Deebo also goes to the Jets, it's very
that's also if Sam Darnold stays consistent. Because 1 year he does good, next year he did all right, third year he does trash. Like, I mean, it all just depends on how they perform. Especially switching from team to team to team, you're getting completely new line, completely new playbooks, completely new players. So it all just depends on who.
But I wouldn't say it's completely new because he did spend his first bit of his career in New Jersey, or now it's New York, but he did spend quite a bit of time there. So it's not a new environment. It's just a new system. And my question is, and this is kind of really late to talk about it, but I feel like in a way, Sam Darnold was kind of very lucky with the system that he was in.
I agree. 100%.
I feel like the system made him elevated him as a player. I feel like as a quarterback, he's above par quarterback, but I feel like the system definitely just brought him above.
That's the same conversation people have with Brock Purdy, like his first couple of games this sophomore season. Oh, everyone said that since he was in a good system, he was. That's why he's good because he had all this.
Shanahan's system's not even that crazy.
Yeah, if you look at Shanahan in his past, I don't think he's ever won a Super Bowl, and he's gone to 6 or 7.
Yeah, exactly. I think that Sam Darnold, the system did benefit him. And I think a big reason why he was good was the sheer trust that Kevin O'Connell put in him. Because other teams were hesitant to let him let loose and throw the football, deep passes, but Kevin O'Connell didn't care. Kevin O'Connell just let Sam Darnold let that thing rip. Sam Darnold was throwing deep passes. He was letting Sam Darnold take the reins and do whatever he wanted to do. He was letting Sam Darnold audible his plays. And I think that was the biggest kicker, is that nobody was really trusting Sam Darnold until he went to Minnesota, and Kevin O'Connell trusted Sam Darnold, trusted his judgment to be a good football player. And I think that's the biggest reason why Sam Darnold was so successful this season.
I agree.
100%. Very interesting to look at because there's a lot going on. So that's all I really have to say about the Jets is if they get Devontae Adams or not Devontae, they get Deebo, they get rid of Aaron Rodgers, they could bring in just another quarterback from the draft or obviously from free agency or through trade. The question is where do you think the Vikings heads at? Do you think that they're going to let him walk in free agency, give him a new contract? What do you think the Vikings?
I think it all depends on how JJ McCarthy looks in offseason.
Okay.
Yes, I would re-sign him if he wants to for cheap, but I doubt he will for cheap because at the end of the day, Sam Darnold
is still super young.
Yes, Sam Darnold could be a really good quarterback for the Vikings long term. See if he still replicates that same success. Another thing that I did see, though, that if Sam Darnold does leave the Vikings, crazy theory, but Aaron Rodgers could follow in the footsteps of Brett Favre and go to the Packers, then play for the Jets, then go to the Vikings. Because I think this would this actually makes sense. It's not just for the joke.
To develop, JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy.
Because they're very similar.
Exactly, and have Aaron Rodgers play and kind of take the reins for JJ McCarthy so JJ McCarthy can learn and Aaron Rodgers can be a good bridge quarterback for the Vikings. So this could be
especially from A-Rod, a very long-term, era of a player in the league.
Yes.
He's played in the old, the new, and now the modern of it. And
Or
JJ
Joe,
McCarthy could
here.
definitely learn of that.
Yes, for
I have
sure.
a question. I have a question too, right? We've obviously talked about Kirk Cousins probably leaving Atlanta. What happens if they bring Kirk Cousins in to New York, tank a little bit to get a young quarterback, so the young quarterback can develop under Kirk Cousins to let him step up? Obviously, we saw it with Michael Penix Jr. in Atlanta. They got this guy, gave him a big contract, let Michael Penix Jr. sit under him for a little bit of the season to kind of understand the game, and then throw him in there to develop. So it's a
I
possibility
don't think
too.
you want to learn off of Kirk Cousins.
That's what I was going to say. Kirk is a good quarterback, but Kirk is not like a.
He's a
great
gambler quarterback.
Yes,
He's a gambler.
1 p.m. Kirk is elite, but primetime Kirk is something else, bro.
1 p.m.
1 p.m. Kirk is insane. But Aaron
Hey,
Rodgers.
Joe,
What was it?
1
5:40?
p.m. Western time, right? Or
Yeah,
are you talking about
no, 1 p.m. Eastern, so like 10 a.m.
Eastern?
10 a.m.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins is insane.
Okay. Okay.
That's a different,
Okay.
that's a different breed.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of different pathways that we could go and break off. There's a lot of forks in the road.
It's just like the NBA. The NBA's had so many deadline trades, and the deadline is in June. I think it's June 1st.
Yes.
That's
No.
the deadline.
No, the NBA
it was February. It was like February 6th or something like
February
that.
6th.
No, I'm saying for the NFL. For the NFL,
Oh, NFL, I don't know.
The trade
I think
deadline?
it's June 1st or something like that.
When they start trading again? Yeah, it's somewhere.
Or
along.
yeah, I
It's
think
after
there's going to
free
be a
agency.
lot that go pretty quick. I think it's going to take a big turn.
You can make trades after free agency. I think it is.
Yeah.
So I think the NFL is going to do a repeat of the NBA, and it's going to go sideways. A lot of new players, a lot of new faces, especially with this draft. This is a great draft class.
It's actually our next topic. I know it's getting late, and I know you got to go. But if you want to stay and we could talk about that, we can. It's up to you, Merek. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we'll do it. Just last one. We'll do this one. We'll do this
Okay.
2025
Okay.
draft.
That's what you said last time. We're just gonna keep going.
Top prospects in the NFL 2025 draft. Obviously, a lot of prospects going on, a lot of different ways to go. Merek, let me hear your ideal lineup, like first 3 picks. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm not gonna say an order just yet. I'm just gonna say the names: Travis,
Just name
Cam
people that-
Ward, Cam Ward, and what's the Penn State DN? Can't think of his name.
Abdul Carter.
Yeah, Abdul Carter. Number 11, Micah Parsons Jr. I think he's gonna go pretty high too. Shador's up there just because it's obvious. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I mean, it's the modern quarterback that you're gonna want to see now. Cam Ward, he's different, but hey, there's a lot that could go. But my top 3 would go probably in order. I seriously think that the Giants are going to make a dumb mistake, and I really think that they're going to take Travis. I think they're going to make a dumb mistake, and instead of not taking quarterback, they're going to take Titans first, right?
Yeah.
Titans.
Titans, because
the
they're not
line goes Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots, Jaguars. That's 5, and then I could go on, but
I think that I don't know, Titans. Maybe they'll be smart, take Cam Ward. Browns will definitely. They'll probably take Abdul Carter and maybe try to keep Miles.
I think what's gonna
Giants
happen.
would take Travis.
I think that could very well happen if the Titans go quarterback. I don't think the Browns will. The Browns definitely won't take Travis because they don't. Or no,
They don't need it.
They do need.
No, actually, I take that back. Giants will probably take Shador, and then the Jags will probably take Travis.
No, the Giants will definitely take Shador because Shador wants to be a Giant. There was that one game where Shador was wearing cleats with the Giants logo on them, so pretty crazy. I think overall, I think the Titans should draft Travis Hunter. That's a hot take I have because I don't think Will Levis is a good quarterback, but you can't pass up on a generational talent like Travis Hunter. But who knows? Let's say the Titans take Cam Ward, which I could really see happening. I think Cam Ward's more likely to be a Titan than Travis Hunter. Then I think Merek's right about the Browns taking maybe Abdul Carter, pair him up with Myles Garrett. Maybe that will convince
because obviously Myles Garrett wants to leave, but he wants to leave unless they get support to help him on the line. So
it's not even that he wants a win now team. He doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild, and kind of what the Browns have been in for years. Like they got their rebuild a little bit up. So now they've been winning more games, and they're not as poverty as they were. But he wants a win.
0-17 year was so bad.
Oh my gosh, bro!
I remember that so vividly. Shout out Cody Kessler. And then the third pick, I could if Shador falls to 3, which he will. Shador is 100% a New York Giant. Personally, I know we've talked about this before. I don't think Shador will be good in the NFL. I think Shador's part of the reason why he's such a big name is because of his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a good player. He's just not first round pick good. You know,
I think he is.
I think
he is. Because of that modern style of a quarterback he is. You don't see as much scramblers thrown on the run. He's strong. He runs passionately when he's going down the field.
He has like Jaden Daniels, but slower Jaden Daniels kind of vibe.
Don't ever compare my glorious king to Shador Sanders, please.
Shador, the thing, I just don't think Shador is that great of a quarterback. I think he'll be good, but I don't think he'll be number 3 overall pick good. I think like Max and Madden, he'll be like an 84 overall. I don't see him being much better than that.
He'll be lucky to be in the 80s. He'll be lucky to be in the 80s.
Dylan Gabriel. Oh, he's pretty good.
Dylan Gabriel. I think he should go higher, to be honest. But I don't think number 3 is good for Shador, but I think he will be good in the NFL.
Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart from Ole Miss will be
Jackson Dart.
I think he's pretty good. There's also there's another receiver that's that guy from Ohio State. He has a goofy name, Emeka something. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think he'll be a good sleeper receiver that they take in a late round. That kind of like this year's Lad McConkey. He gets taken in the second round, and everybody kind of sleeps on him because there's Travis Hunter, there's other dudes, there's Tyler Warren, and so but then he's just going to come out and be really good. So, there are some good players in this draft class for sure. I don't know Tyler Warren. I think he's a great player. Heisman finalist. I just don't – tight ends don't really go high in the league anymore. The last tight end that was a top 5 pick was Kyle Pitts, and we know how that's going right now. He had a great rookie season, but he hasn't been able to produce much after that. So
I love Kyle Pitts, man. I love Kyle Pitts.
Somebody we have not talked about yet is Ashton Genty. I think as much as Ashton Genty should be a top 10 pick, he won't be because running backs just generally aren't top picks like that anymore. I think Genty will be anywhere from 10 to 15. Ashton Genty screams Cowboy to me. Ashton Genty also said that Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm looking at a mock draft right now. It says that he's going to go 12th to the Cowboys. Now,
I could very well see that. Or
here's interesting. Yes, that's what I was going to say. The Raiders in this mock draft are projected to go for a wide receiver, but the Raiders are in need of a running back. Zamir White's not bad, but he's not a dog like Ashton Genty. But here's the dream scenario, right? They go for the wide receiver first round, and then in the second round, they hopefully pick up the guy from Arizona State, Scadaboo, I think his name is, right?
Oh yeah, he's projected at third round. Yeah, Cam.
He's the top 20 pick of the third round.
Yeah,
which is insane because he's a dog at running back.
He's just super small.
Yeah, he's tiny.
Hot take. I think Ashton Genty is going to be a bust in the NFL. He had listen to my reasoning.
I see it though.
No, yes, he had a great season at Boise State this year, but in 4 years, that guy had 1,000 something or 1,200 something carries. He got 300 something carries a season. He got ran into the ground. He's not going to last long in the NFL just because one, it's bigger dudes. He's going to get rocked, and he's going to have to keep getting up, especially on a Cowboys team. He's going to have to do a lot of work. And wherever he goes, they're going to be on a rebuild team because there's not really so many big teams right now. He's not going to the Eagles. They got Saquon. dog. He's not going to go to the Niners. We have CMC. He's not going to go to – who else do we got? I mean, like, I don't know. I just personally, I don't think he's going to – I think he'll be fine for a little bit, but I think overall he's not going to be as good as he was in college, and he's not going to be a big name after the first year.
I see where you're coming from because
I think Cam will be bigger.
I don't think so. I don't think Cam will be bigger than Genty. I do see your concerns. I do see your concerns about Genty not being good because he did play in the Mountain West. To be granted, is not the most insane college division, but putting up 2,500 yards regardless, I think is pretty impressive. Genty, he's not the fastest guy, but this guy's a tank. He's like, I want to say like he's the Walmart version of Adrian Peterson. He's good. I think that maybe it'll take like a few years for him to be good in the NFL, but otherwise I could see him being like a kind of like a just a lesser Adrian Peterson or something like that. I don't think he'll be like good like Adrian Peterson, but I think he'll be like comparable, kind of like Frank Gore, but worse than Frank Gore, of course, because Frank Gore's a dog. But kind of like in that Frank Gore, Adrian Peterson era, but like tone it down a couple of notches. That's what I see Ashton Genty as.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if he has a good line, if he goes to Dallas, if they build up that line, he'll be good. But it just depends on who he's running behind. If he's running behind a bad line, I think he's not going to succeed. It just depends on if he stays healthy his first couple of years.
Yeah.
And how many reps he gets.
A couple of people we haven't really talked about are the offensive linemen in this draft. So I think there are two standout offensive linemen, Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks. I don't know which one. I do like Kelvin Banks, though.
I'm taking Kelvin Banks because he's another Trent.
Dude, that's so real. He's a big dude.
Yeah, Will Campbell though is good.
I'm
looking at the draft real quick. I'm looking at the draft, and they have obviously like they're listed their weight, position, their position rank, and everything. They have Travis Hunter's position as athlete, and they have his rank as 1.
Nice.
That's actually kind of sick. They have him position as athlete.
I think in the NFL Combine though, Travis Hunter said that he's focusing on DB.
He said that, and then he just tweeted out that he wants to play both ways now.
He's entering DB.
Going back to the DB.
But I mean, I feel like if the Patriots, assuming that the Patriots get him in the 4th pick, the mock draft says, I feel like he'll be good both ways. But I mean, you also have to realize the Patriots got that young corner 2 years ago, I think it was, and he's good.
I think we're sleeping on another corner named Will Johnson, absolute dog from Michigan,
projected to go 5th to Jags.
What's it called on CBS Sports? They got him listed at 2. On ESPN, they had him listed at 4.
Wow,
the draft. He is a dog. Can we talk about Tyler Warren? I think his name is Penn State tight end.
Yeah, I could see him.
Oh my gosh, dude!
He's a dog, but it's just like
I see him going to Washington or something, bro.
Oh, Washington could use a tight end. They could use.
And that's what I'm saying. They could trade up to get Tyler Warren because he's supposed to drop down to the 18.
Oh yeah, they can definitely get him. They can trade up 10 spots.
If Washington gets this tight end, we got another Super Bowl contender. Especially with Jaden Daniels, how he performed.
Oh yeah, for sure. I agree.
Yeah, and I feel like people need Zach Ertz. He was old, but he did freaking good on Washington. He was the guy that they needed. So if they get a young tight end, they get a young tight end. I feel like Zach Ertz is a good person to develop under. So I feel like Zach Ertz will teach this young tight end.
Yeah, I say he's a good one to develop.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Tyler Warren will produce even better in that Washington Commanders offense because he is
Tyler Warren. He's like another like George Kittle.
I agree. That's not a crazy thing to say. That's definitely a great thing to say.
He played just like he did when he was at Iowa.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't really have
they
much
got this
to
guy
say.
going at Ashton Genty going 2nd?
No way.
Crazy
That's
work.
insane.
No way. There's no way he goes anything in 2nd.
Hold on, let's see what this one says.
And then there's again Jackson Dart, Caleb Johnson from Iowa.
Jackson Dart, he has a really good. Who would he fit for?
I love Jackson Dart.
Jets. You get him in the 2nd round.
I agree.
A second round pick. That would fit them really well.
What y'all know about Matthew Golden though? He's a pretty good receiver. And there's the whole Ole Miss core. Caleb Johnson's a dog.
The Raiders have the 6th pick.
Yeah.
Raiders could have gotten the first pick if they just lost to the Jaguars, but
Exactly. I don't know why they didn't play their bums.
somebody we're not talking about is Quinn Ewers. He's projected a
Ooh.
first-round pick, but I don't know why he's projected so late. I think he's a pretty good quarterback, if not one of the best quarterbacks in this draft class. So somebody to look out for, Quinn Ewers.
The
there's
Niners have
Jalen
dropped down to
Milroe,
the
too.
11th pick.
Huh?
The Niners dropped down to the 11th.
Yeah.
I thought we were.
And there's
16th.
Jalen Milroe too. Jalen Milroe's being slept on too. I think he's
A lot of people don't like him because they say he's too big as a quarterback. He plays more of like an athletic position, is what they say. He plays too like bold, which I think is crazy statements.
That's a crazy thing to knock somebody for. Imagine how
Because he's athletic.
Athleticism as a quarterback is very valued. That's why Jaden Daniels is so good.
Because he's like, look at Lamar, look at Josh Allen, look at who else can we look at? I mean, I guess you can put Patrick Mahomes in that conversation.
Yeah.
But to overlook him because he played for Alabama for 4 years. I don't know. I think that's just a crazy statement to dock somebody for because of how he plays at Alabama. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So
Okay. Very interesting.
Ooh, if Denver gets Tyler Warren, that's bad news because Denver will be disgusting.
Oh yeah, for sure. They need a tight end too.
They need a tight end. They got the 20th pick too, and he falls to like 18th.
Oh, he could definitely.
Who's the 18th pick? Seattle is, and they don't need a tight end, nor does Tampa, so they could trade up. Oh my god!
I actually on this mock draft I see the Bengals going for Tyler Warren at 17th pick.
Who do they have right now?
Drew Sample.
Yeah,
he's okay.
Oh yeah, he's okay.
I also
But
on
I
this
think they
mock
need to
draft
focus more on
too.
the line.
I don't know.
That offense would be with Jamar Chase. Or T. Higgins is leaving, but they got Andre Ilisovas and then the
T.
Tyler
Higgins to the
Warren.
Niners.
I don't know about that one.
I
would
that
like
a little
it,
bit,
but he wants more money.
but I don't think he would fit our scheme.
No, I don't
I
think
don't
so
like
either.
I also see in this mock draft that the Broncos. I don't know if they trade. What pick does the Broncos have right now?
The Broncos, I think they're 20th.
Not 20.
Yeah, I see that they go for Colston Loveland out of
Ooh.
Michigan.
Yeah.
I see that they go them. They go him if Tyler Warren goes down. I see the
What?
Texans going for a wide receiver. It says that they're going for Luther Burden. I don't think they need a wide receiver. I think that they might need more defensive aspect.
What are the Lions going to go for?
It says here that they trade down to the 32 in this mock draft. Obviously, it's probably not going to happen, but they trade down to get Mike Green, an edge out of Marshall.
Oh yeah, he's pretty good.
He's not bad. He performed
out
pretty
of
well.
Marshall. The thing that concerns me is he comes out of Marshall, which is
Marshall, not as much competition, so he hasn't.
Yeah, that's the only
That's
thing.
just development.
Yeah,
Washington has the 29th pick, and they need right now their biggest needs are the edge, offensive tackles, a wide receiver, linebackers, and corners.
Somebody
Which I say they go for corners.
No, yeah, I agree. But somebody that everyone is sleeping on in this draft, two players actually, are Donovan Edwards, who's on the cover of college football. He had a down year, but I still think he's a dog. And somebody that absolutely nobody talks about is Nick Nash from San Jose State. He led the NCAA in receptions, yards,
he's nice,
and TDs. He's nice, and he's ranked 19th in his position. I know.
I actually went to a football camp. And he was one of the people there, and I talked to him. And his footwork is actually disgusting. His footwork is better than Devontae's, bro. It's insane.
He led the NCAA in every category this year, and it's not talked about. So I think he's going to be a late pick, but he's going to be a sleeper.
But Joe, here's the question, right? You said this about Ashton Genty. What division is he playing in? Is it as competitive as
in the Big Sky?
It's also
he's in the Mountain West, not the Big Sky. He's in the Mountain West. Sac State's Big Sky.
Yeah, so you also have to I'm not knocking on him. I'm sure he's a great player, and I'm sure stats say that he was great, but you also have to realize that he's also going against the same team that Ashton Genty was going against.
I see a difference between a running back and a wide receiver when it comes to conference, because you still have to build the ability to get separation off the line if you're a receiver, and that doesn't matter who you're playing against. You could be Like I could be a receiver and trying to go against some corner from Houston or Escalon, and I could get locked up. But I can go to running back, and then I can just keep running down the middle and get 4 or 5 yards of carry. Over time, then you just build and build and build and build. So I think that's a positional wise, depending on the conference. Like quarterbacks, I think that depends on conference too.
Yeah, and Nick
But
Nash,
also not because of your threats that you have on your team. Like you might not have that good of a threat.
and Nick Nash had 1,359 yards and 12 touchdowns, which I think is pretty impressive, regardless of what team you're playing for.
Their running back is nice too.
The only problem that Nick Nash has that I see is that he's like 23 years old because he was playing 6 years of college football. But I think he's a dog.
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, just like Stetson Bennett or like
28.
Brandon Whedon, who was drafted at 28 years old. But he's still Deebo was drafted at 23. But I think Nick Nash is a sleeper option for any team in this league that needs a receiver.
Yeah,
So,
very interesting to see. I don't have anything else really to say about the NFL top prospects. I'm not really
It's
a
all
big goer.
it's all just a toss up right now.
yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
because it's still too early. Every team is trying to figure out what they're kind of going to go for.
Because they could also re-sign people, get rid of people, new opportunities open. It's a solid toss
Yeah,
up.
Yeah,
exactly.
Perfect.
Okay. Anything else you want to add on? You want to move to the next topic? What do you guys want to do?
Well, I gotta sign off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well,
appreciate
thank you,
you guys
Merek,
for
for
having me.
coming on. It was a good talk. I definitely
Yeah.
enjoyed having the conversation with you. You definitely elevated the podcast a lot more, brought a lot of talking aspects to the podcast. I appreciate you coming on here,
Me
and
too.
I hope you have a great night. Anything you want to say to the fans before you log out here?
Hey, don't fade away like McQueen did, bro.
That's so
Okay.
valid. That's so valid.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Merek, again. Hope you have a great night. See ya.
Peace.
See ya.
Okay, Joe.
Two.
Now it's just me and you. There's just two. Merek's in the waiting room. He's waving goodbye. I think he's logging off here. Okay. Next question. NBA All-Star Showdown Night 1. Now, this was an interesting, full of a lot of events. Obviously, there's the skill showdown, the 3-point contest, the dunk contest that came on today. I think there was another thing. I'm not completely sure. But one of the craziest things I think I've ever heard of in an NBA skill showdown was Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul getting DQ'd because they cheated. Joe, what do you think about that?
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
I guess they were bending the rules, but they found a way to cheat the system, and it's clever. Like, you can't hate the guys for doing something like that. So I think that although they did not technically follow the rules, they were using their resources. They found a way to win the game, and that's the whole purpose of that skills challenge, was to showcase your skills. In basketball, you need IQ to be good. Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul clearly showed their IQ with that strategy. So,
Okay, here's what I have to say, right? Because everyone knows that Chris Paul is the smartest player in NBA history, the person with the biggest IQ. And I saw that the ref, went up to the team and they're like, "Yeah, you guys are disqualified." And Victor Wembanyama was like, "What?" I think this is what I think. I think that Victor Wembanyama was gonna take it seriously, but Chris Paul convinced him to cheat because Chris Paul is a mastermind, and this just shows that Chris Paul has so much IQ about basketball in general. It doesn't even have to be about the game; it could just be about anything basketball related. Now, the biggest question is, and for reference, if you didn't watch it, to give reference, the whole point of the skill challenge was you had to make passes, dribble the ball around cones, make more passes, dribble the ball, and you're supposed to take 3 shots, the top of the key and at the corner, and then dribble all the way back to the start, which is on the other side of the court. They decided, okay, we're going to do everything legit, but the shooting, you get 3 balls on the rack, and you're supposed to grab and shoot. They grabbed it, threw it at the ground, kind of like a bounce pass, did more bounce passes, and then ran all the way back. So they didn't waste time taking those shots when typically what you would do is you would have to get in rhythm, and it would take a good 1 to 2 seconds per shot just because you have to get in rhythm, jump up, and get the shot off. They didn't. They skipped it. Their time was 46 seconds, and everyone else's was like 1:10, which is insane. Now the question is what do you think the NBA is going to do in the future to prevent something like this from happening?
Well, I guess they got to be more clear about the rules because they never clearly stated that you couldn't do what Victor and Chris Paul did. So I guess they just got to. I guess this is a lesson for everybody because it shows you don't have to like you have to follow the rules. So I think that for this year, it should have been they should have just let them do it and be like they're clever. You got to respect their cleverness, but then they got to make it a rule the next year. But it seems like they're going to make it apparent before every skills challenge. At the end of the day, it's just a skills challenge, so it's not really that deep in the end. But I think that Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul were low-key clever for that. And I feel like another thing we should talk about in this is the other events that happened tonight. So obviously we got I know I'm going to save the dunk contest because we got our own specific topic for that. But the three-point contest was pretty good tonight. Buddy Hield, former Sacramento King. Low-key, I love Buddy Hield. He was tough. A lot of Kings fans don't like him because he was inconsistent. To be fair, he was extremely inconsistent. But he put up 31 points in the first round, and I was like, dang, Buddy's a dog. Go ahead.
Do you want to know why he put up that much?
Because he did it. It was a catch and shoot.
Because he didn't dribble. He didn't have to dribble. He didn't have to dribble. All he had to do was grab the ball and shoot it. That's why he was so successful, because he didn't have to dribble the ball. You know what they should do from now on to prevent Buddy Hield from succeeding? You have to dribble to the spot and take the shot. Then let's see what he does. He'll probably make one of however many was on the rack. I think you get 5 per rack. I think he's probably going to make you get 25 shots. I think he's only going to make like 4 if he has to dribble.
If he dribbles. Exactly, because Buddy Hield is an elite shooter on the catch and shoot. That's it. You make that man dribble. I don't know why he bothers dribbling anymore. If I were him, I wouldn't dribble. I would just travel everywhere, bro, because when he doesn't dribble, he shoots 85% from beyond the arc. The second that man bounces the ball one time, 11% from the arc. He needs to stop dribbling. But it wasn't even enough for him to win the contest because Tyler Herro won the contest.
Yeah. Of all names in that contest, Tyler Herro was not the person that I thought would have won it.
Oh, no. I definitely didn't think so either. I just kind of thought Tyler Herro was one of those. He's a good three-point shooter, but I just kind of thought he was one of those guys that's like a little like replacement. Like just like we don't know who to put in because this guy said no. So let's put Tyler Herro in there.
Yeah, no, but this definitely shows everyone that he can shoot the ball. He can swing the rock. But my main thing is Buddy Hield. I couldn't believe it when I read the news headline that Buddy Hield did that. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is fraudulent because they should. It's basketball. You have to know how to dribble and shoot. And when you only have to shoot, you can be a good shooter. But when it comes to dribbling and shooting, Buddy Hield is not that. So definitely questions the NBA's legitimacy with this three-point contest. And what I was going to mention last topic that we talked about Victor Wembanyama and all that, my suggestion about how that they could change the penalties of like people bending the rules or like trying to get around it is if you miss, like you don't get penalized for a missed shot, but to be considered a missed shot, it has to either hit the backboard or hit the rim. And if it's an air ball, then you get penalized like 3 seconds or something. And then same thing with the 3-point contest. I feel like you should be penalized for like airballing or like overshooting or something. Obviously, these are elite level shooters, so they shouldn't be poor. And I don't know. I'm not sure if that was the case this year, but I'm sure there's been a case where you're on the 3-point contest and you can't shoot threes. So I feel like in order to like weave out people that are kind of frauds in the competition, there should be a penalty for people. Now, Buddy Hield, obviously the 3-point contest now to bracket, you go one-on-one each person. You go in there, and then the winner obviously came out to be Tyler Herro. Very interesting. I was interested to see Cade Cunningham be in the 3-point contest. He's someone that I did not expect to be like an elite level 3-point shooter. I mean,
he's underrated.
He put a snoozer of a freaking performance. Obviously, if you watch the broadcast, Damian Lillard on the bench was yawning after the performance that Cade Cunningham put on. Very interesting. A little bit of banter. I'm not sure if it was like personal or anything, but one of the one of the last topics. There was a talk last week that there was a chance of a three-peat, but no one was talking about the biggest three-peat in history, Mac McClung. This guy's the GOAT of dunking. I don't know. The three-peat GOAT. Hey.
So funny. I was at In-N-Out before we started recording this episode with my friend Bryce, and we're sitting there.
Not this Bryce,
Bryce, different Bryce.
Yeah.
I'm friends with two Bryces. It's kind of funny. And we're sitting there, and I get an alert on my phone that Mac McClung wins dunk contest. Cool. I look at my phone. Mac McClung only has 2 career dunks in the NBA and has 3 one dunk contests. He's won more dunk contests than NBA career dunks. He is a dog in the G League, though. He's averaging like 25 in the G League. I don't know why he doesn't have a roster spot because he's a pretty good player that can set the tone. But
I think he's undersized. I think that's the biggest problem is he's super undersized. He's like 5'11", I think. He's super small for the NBA level. But you also have to realize Mac McClung is the owner of one of the toughest high school highlight reels of all time. If you have never watched a high school highlight reel, you need to watch Mac McClung highlight reel. He was a dog in high school.
It'll change your life.
He was, exactly. So Mac McClung, obviously not a good NBA player, and I kind of like that they're allowing players that aren't really like named in the league, like have a big name in the league, participate in these skill games because overall it's basketball's game. They do the Rising Stars, they do G League All Stars now, stuff like that to kind of include everyone that's oriented around the NBA. Mac McClung, I mean, wow. The first dunk, I think it was his first dunk over a Kia. Not over the hood like Blake Griffin did, over the whole freaking Kia. A whole Kia car. Into a reverse dunk. Obviously, the landing was a little bit rough. He wasn't able to plant his feet, and he face planted basically, but still very impressive. I mean, you have to remember it is a car that he dunked over.
Yeah, that Mac McClung, like we said, he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Yeah, they should rename the contest to the Mac McClung Dunk Contest.
I agree. Mac McClung, a trophy award.
He might go down in history for the best dunker to never succeed in the NBA.
I agree with that.
He's super athletic. I mean, obviously he's super athletic. He in the G League, he's an elite. He's not an elite shooter, but he's a good shooter. He knows how to play the game. He understands the game a little bit. Just never was able to develop a name in the NBA, and it sucks to see that. Anything you want to say about Mac McClung before we talk about our draft?
I'd like to think that he's like Ja Morant, but like if you sucked all like the basketball talent out of Ja Morant, because Mac McClung has like that flashy factor, but Ja Morant obviously has both. Like Ja Morant is extremely flashy and can play ball. It's just Mac McClung has that flashy factor. It's just Mac McClung. Did I say Malik Monk?
No, you didn't.
Okay, I thought I said Malik Monk. Mac McClung is like not really like good fundamental wise basketball, but he's a very flashy player, and I admire Loki his flashiness and like the way he can get people off their seats. So
yeah, I'm surprised that he's even able to jump after carrying the NBA dunk contest. I mean, his back must hurt. It has to be weighing him down because he's the only reason why the dunk contest is really relevant. I mean, last year Jalen Green, I think was it Jalen Green? No, Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown had a horrible performance of a dunk contest. His whole thing was trying to prove that he has a left hand, which still doesn't convince me. I don't think he has a left hand.
I don't know.
So very interesting to see there. Props to Mac McClung, the GOAT of dunking in a dunk contest. Like you said, more dunk contest victories than actual dunks in the NBA. Do you want to wrap it up to our draft our draft and then call it an episode?
Yep.
Okay. This one's an interesting one. Right off the fly. Me and Joe came up with it, actually. Shout out, Joe. Top 3 childhood cartoons. Okay.
So
I got the first pick last time.
Yep.
Joe, you can have the first pick. I think that we're going to go 2 different ways here. Now, the question that I have for you, Joe, are you going to pick cartoons that you grew up watching from like a baby to now? Or are you picking like cartoons that like prime like Joe watching like TV cartoons? Like where's your head at?
Like when I was a kid watching cartoons on TV. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So with that, my first pick, the GOAT of cartoons. When I think this is the Michael Jordan or LeBron, depending on what you like, the Tom Brady of all cartoons. Your parents may not have let you watch this cartoon. I think that parents that don't let you
Yeah,
watch this
I
cartoon
know
are not
it.
real.
Let me guess. Let me guess. Let me guess. Let me guess.
Yes,
This cartoon will give you like will rot your brain because it's so stupid.
yes.
Dude, let
The
me
best.
guess. He has pants.
Yes.
Of
Who
course.
lives in a pineapple under the sea? Say it with me. SpongeBob
SpongeBob
SquarePants.
SquarePants.
My
Yeah.
number one pick, SpongeBob SquarePants, baby.
Okay. I personally didn't watch that. I mean, okay. So I wouldn't say that I didn't watch it growing up, but it wasn't like a cartoon that I grew up watching until I was like 10. Maybe that's when I joined the franchise, right? But here's something that I respected since day one. My first ever birthday party was revolved around this character. Give me Handy Mandy. Handy Mandy.
Handy Manny. Hey, that's tough.
Yeah,
I
Handy
mess with
Manny.
that.
He
I
was a
used to
he was
be a
a
Handy Manny fan.
dog. He was a dog. The talking tool set. Oh my gosh. Hey, and I forgot his name, but he was in NCSI too. He got a role in NCSI that I watched when I was like 15. It was an NCSI or CSI, one of those two, but he was in a cop show. You could still recognize his voice, which is pretty crazy. And it's a voice that's always in my head. I love Handy Manny. I respect the game, and I definitely feel like it's a solid first pick for me. Maybe you don't agree, but it's something that I respect.
No, I agree. I mess with Handy Manny heavy. Now, another show that I'm going to choose. I think this is personally, I think you let me pick Michael Jordan and LeBron here. Personally, this is another childhood show. Iconic intro song that everybody knows. It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Give me Mickey Mouse Clubhouse for number 2, baby.
Uh-uh.
Uh-huh. Mickey
Oh
Mouse Clubhouse
no,
is
come
iconic,
on.
bro. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse
Dude,
was
I don't even remember watching it because I was like 2 years old when it was
I don't think
relevant
you
in
have a
my
soul
life.
then. I don't think you have a soul then. Because Mickey Mouse Clubhouse was fire.
You know what? Okay. So
Mickey.
you're
Dun,
going
dun, dun,
animations,
dun,
you
dun,
know? I
dun.
think I need to flip it to maybe more when I was like 10, 11 when I was watching it. A little bit. It started playing a little bit later in the night, a little bit later in the night. Give me do I do it to you or do I hopefully it drops? No, I'm picking iCarly. iCarly,
Okay,
a
so we're going
great
like that.
show. Hey, you're saying shows. You're saying
All right,
shows.
all right, all right, all right. I said cartoons, but sure.
Okay, oh, and then I'll take it back. I'll take it back. If you want me to go cartoons, I'll go cartoons.
Okay, go cartoon.
Give me, okay.
Can I
Amazing
do?
World of Gumball. I liked World of Gumball.
Ooh,
Solid pick. I mean, some might say, yeah. Give me Amazing World of
I
Gumball.
think it's a good
Slept
pick.
on. It's slept on. It's slept on. It's a great show, and I love it. Although I would pick iCarly if this was just any show in general as a child. iCarly, Elite Show. Sam and Cat, another great show that I would take.
Victorious.
Jesse, Victorious is a good one. There's a few shows out there. Lab Rats, I would have taken Lab Rats. But
Oh,
if we're
Lab
going,
Rats.
if we're going straight to animation, I got to take Amazing World of Gumball.
Hey, that's valid. But you let the best Cartoon Network show of all time fall to my
Adventure
position.
Time.
Nope. The most random show in
Regular
history.
show.
Give me regular show.
Yeah.
These episodes are the craziest things because it could start with Mordecai and Rigby needing to set up chairs, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're relying on a space horse to pass a U.S. world history test to save the universe. True story. I remember that episode very vividly. Very random, but also a very, very fun show. Give me
I
regular.
think the producers of that show were high when they made every single
Oh,
episode.
definitely.
Because that show, I swear, like I don't know. I feel like the show that we watched then when we were younger would have a completely different meaning if we were high watching it. Obviously, I've never been high in my life, but I'm just saying, I think that would hit different if you were under the influence. Very interesting, very questionable. And not on my radar because I didn't really watch it. I mean, I watched an episode here or there. My mom really didn't want me to watch Cartoon Network because it was a little bit mature of a cartoon channel, but I really, really, really did watch it when I was at my grandparents. I don't think I was supposed to say that, but my grandparents let me watch. I got the back room to myself. I got to watch. They had the Xfinity channels. I got to watch sports. I got to watch whatever I want. I had my own remote, so I was always on Cartoon Network, and I was watching. Disney XD was a popular one for me. I like Disney XD. Disney XD was fire. Okay, my last pick. I'm trying to go through a little bit of picks here. Now, we're going a lot of modern time, right? But I feel like we need to throw it back. I think we need a little bit of a throwback. Well, okay. You didn't have to make it weird, Joe. You didn't have to make it weird. I'm going to go out of my era, but still a legendary cartoon. You might not agree with me here, but something that doesn't need to say a single word and you could still enjoy it. Give me Tom and Jerry.
Oh, that's a fire pick. That's a fire pick.
Yeah, you don't need to say a single word and you could still love it. I mean, all you got to do is focus on what's on the screen.
I agree with you. That's a valid pick.
Do you want to go one honorable mention to wrap up the podcast?
Sure, why not? My honorable mention. Ooh, we got options now. Trying to think of all the shows that I watched when I was a kid. Bryce, you go ahead. I'll give you this one first if you have one in mind.
Okay, I got one in mind. Actually, let me bring. It's a little bit of a show and tell here today.
Oh, shoot! Is he about to pull out a shirt?
No,
Chat, leave your predictions in the comments.
Unfortunately, one of them has been left out. One of them has, in fact, been left out. And I want to prove to everyone that I'm a huge fan of this organization. Oh, shit, I just dropped something. Ninja Turtles!
Oh, my!
Yeah! And here's my little show and tell. I got old figurines that I used to... This is going to sound bad, but I had this. These were my bathtub toys. Every time I would take a bath, I would always play with my Ninja Turtles. Unfortunately, Michelangelo is no longer with us. I don't know where he went. I lost him. And I'm forever sad because that's my favorite Ninja Turtle. It's always pizza time. I love Michelangelo. My second favorite has to be Donatello, and then Leonardo, and then Raphael. I feel like Raphael's a little too toxic.
Leonardo's my
it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Leonardo's my GOAT, my personal opinion. I hate myself for not picking them. That was a very clever pick. I will give you that advantage.
Oh, you can also see another one of me up there. If you could, is it in frame?
I can kind of see it.
Yeah, it's me like with a Raphael beanie on and like me in a Ninja Turtle costume. Yeah.
Oh shoot, I'm trying to think. I have some good options here, but I just don't know.
Put everything back.
Let's see. I used to watch a lot of Disney Junior as a kid. I used to watch a lot of Nickelodeon. All that good jazz. But with that, I think for my final pick, low-key, the first show that's coming to my mind that I used to watch all the time as a little kid was Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a pull.
Hey. That's a pull. Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Octonauts, I think that's what it is. Octonauts, right?
Yes,
that's a good one.
Yes.
That's a solid one. But I think the steal of the draft has to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I agree. I forgot about
that. It did fall.
Series. Oh my god! Here we go. It's the lingering ninja team. Want to see cool? That was so good.
Yeah. There's a lot of good cartoons out there.
Does anything it takes to get a ninja through. Donatello is a fellow, has a whipping machine. Raphael's got the most attitude on the team. Michelangelo, he's one of a kind. You know where to find him when it's party time. Oh, that's so good. I love that show. I'm a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, if you couldn't tell. So I'm jealous of that.
I had to take these out of retirement just for the podcast to show everyone that I'm not a fraud. I was a fan of the franchise. I had pictures on my freaking corkboard. I'm a fan of the franchise. Okay? Don't come at me. I'm a fan of the franchise. I'm going to put these back.
Oh, that's tough. So with that, I think that's all we could squeeze out with this episode. I just wanted to say thank you to the fans who continue to keep supporting. Shout out to everybody who watches, especially you, Steve Lopes. You're our number one fan so far. If anybody wants to dethrone him, I'd say go ahead, but it's going to be hard.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
It's
It's
impossible.
impossible.
Shout out to Leroy Betancourt, Bryce's dad. You're pretty cool. I remember when I met you in person, you were like, yo, great job on the podcast. We appreciate that. Can't think of anybody else specifically to shout out. Oscar Drummond, shout out Oscar Drummond. He gets really excited whenever I tell him we dropped a new episode.
He
Shout
is a
out
fan. I always see his. I don't know if he's posted recently, but he did post a couple Instagram notes saying that he's patiently waiting for the episode. Maybe
Yeah.
one time we should get Oscar on the pod. Hey, I feel like he
We
would
do
bring
need
a
to
lot
get
to the
Oscar on the
pod.
pod. We do
Oscar
need to get
should come on the podcast.
He's
Yeah,
got W ball knowledge. Oscar, if you're
Exactly.
seeing this, let me know, or I'll text you right now, and we can schedule a day.
yeah. Hit us up. We'll schedule a day. There's a few other people that I know want to come on the podcast. Just scheduling things is very difficult, especially
Yeah.
because we both have very demanding lives outside of this podcast. Obviously, you're with FFA. I'm involved in a lot of not play sports because I'm not that athletic, but I do a lot behind the scenes for sports, like stats and
Stats
in
and
stadium
all that.
announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. So both very busy, but we try our hardest to get an episode out. We might not hit the mark every single time, but be a whole. There is an episode coming out. There's an episode out right now. Episode 6 came out the day that we're recording this. We were recording this February 15th. Came out today. This one will probably be out hopefully within the next couple days. If not, I'm sorry. But you will see this episode eventually. Other than that, I feel like it's a perfect moment to wrap up. Joe, quote of the day. It's your thing. So I want you to
It is my thing.
I have a quote. I have a quote if you want me to say something.
Okay. If you have hate in your heart, you already lost, by Daniel LaRusso. Never have hate in your heart. Always be positive, and you will see better results in life.
Okay. It looks like I don't need to have a quote. That's an amazing way to end up the episode. Thank you, Joe, for coming, recording. Pause. Sorry. Oh my God. What am I saying? What am I saying? Why did I pause myself? What the hell? Okay.
Pause, bro.
I didn't. My bad. Thank you, everybody, again, for listening, watching, viewing, whatever you did on this episode. Make sure you guys leave a comment on this podcast, leave a like, share it to your friends. Any support's appreciated. See you guys